Here at Grassy Branch, the stream has been under stress due to a high level of development. Within the last 10 years, the land use in this area has gone from largely forested and agriculture to a highly intensive developed area. Protecting water quality is such an important issue here in Tennessee. Our surface waters, like our lakes and streams, provide habitat for wildlife and plants. It provides drinking water. We use them as recreational resources for canoeing, kayaking, and fishing. And we don't want our children playing in streams that could potentially make them sick.
So what happens whenever we have these big rainfall events and we have all these impervious surfaces that create this stormwater runoff is all that water is picking up pollutants from your driveway, from your roofs, from the roads, and it's bringing all those pollutants like herbicides, pesticides, gas from your car, oil from your car, and it's sending that directly into the stream.
The waters in Tennessee are under a lot of stress from different human activities such as development or agriculture. This means that anytime anyone fertilizes their yard or applies pesticides, some of those are going to end up in Grassy Branch. As a result, it has been listed as impaired by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation's list of threatened and impaired streams for sediment and nutrients. And it's important for us to install best management practices that can kind of help protect that water quality from things like sediment or siltation or nutrients that can cause the stream to have problems.
What we're trying to do is create things like rain gardens to capture some of that stormwater runoff and help filter out those pollutants before that water enters the creek.
The first step on this process is you want to measure out the area that you're going to install the garden, and you want to dig down, remove about 6 inches of the soil and replace that with either a rain garden mix or about a third rain garden mix and a third of your native soil.
What that does is the different layers of the rain garden and the vegetation in the rain garden help water infiltrate down into the ground and filter out some of those pollutants that would otherwise end up in Grassy Branch Creek. Over the past 3 years, the Tennessee Environmental Council has had numerous volunteer events, so chances for the community, especially here in Wingate Estates, for the residents to actually come out and be a part of this project. And not only are they helping us on the physical side, but they also get to learn about rain gardens, how to build them, how to install them. So hopefully they go home, if they have a low-lying area in their yard that would be good for a rain garden, hopefully they take some of that information back and put a rain garden on their own land.
TEC's also led the charge on removal of debris, garbage, all kinds of artifacts and so forth. They've removed that along the creek and did a recent cleanup where they gathered over 15 bags of garbage from the creeks and the surrounding areas. In 2006, we encountered an organization called the Tennessee Environmental Council, and they came to us knowing that we were looking at some changes in this 17 acres of commons that follows the beautiful winding path of Grassy Branch Creek through our area. As we got together and planned this out, and after the developer built this asphalt trail you see here, as John McFadden and others that were with TEC saw the vision that we had, we began to see that this area needed a heck of a lot of trees, and creating buffer zones along the creek, also just to fill in even this area here that we kind of call our little park, to prevent erosion, to enhance the community, to allow for shade, provide for wildlife, and even for wildflowers. John's first task when he came out here around 2007, I believe it was, he went along the creek by himself and mapped 92 points with a GPS unit of erosion.
I've been down here for almost 20 years. No, 20 years planting trees. The smaller trees that you see just behind the no-mow signs, there were no trees there at all when we started. And so we worked with Dave Huebner and the Wingate Homeowners Association, and we started planting trees in there. But the trees on the creek bank in the stream side or riparian zone, that's the real solution to many of our water quality problems.
Now, the riparian zone is just a buffer zone of vegetation. The roots of that vegetation hold the bank in place and reduce erosion. One of the ways that we help prevent erosion of a stream bank that's already eroding is we use cedar revetments and coir logs, which we anchor into the side of the stream bank to help slow water flow and build back the bank over time. In some of the areas of really bad erosion, around some of these bends where you have a stream bank wall that's 6 or 7 feet high, we've gone in and placed coir log revetments at the toe of the bank to help reestablish that toe. And then behind that, we're gonna pull the bank back at a 3-to-1 slope. So we'll bring in heavy machinery like an excavator, and we'll take the soil and move it behind those coir log revetments that we place at the toe of the bank. Then we'll seed that with an erosion-controlled grass seed and plant native vegetation on the slope. So as they grow, the grasses and the native bushes and trees that we planted there, their roots are gonna hold that soil in place and will keep the bank from eroding again.
What if you grab that in, maybe someone in the middle too, and whoever has the end.
So in this phase of the Grassy Branch Restoration Project, we've actually stabilized over 1,000 feet of stream bank. We have several thousand more linear feet of stream that we are going to be looking at, stabilizing, enhancing the riparian zones, putting in rain gardens, live staking, having a bunch of volunteer events. The ultimate goal is to get Grassy Branch Creek off the list of impaired streams. One of the reasons that we're working on Grassy Branch Creek is because this is a tributary to the Duck River, and we want to make sure all the water entering the Duck River is fresh and clean and ensures that it will allow a very diverse population of native Tennessee habitat to thrive.
The riparian zone or streamside zone here for Grassy Branch, which is part of the Duck River watershed, which is one of the most, if not the most, biologically diverse river system in the world. You know, I think about biological diversity and why is biological diversity important? Well, the reason why it's important to everybody is because, one, it's involved in our medical industry and medicine production. It's important for food production. You know, one of the things that we're seeing now is the disruption of the bees. That's why one of the council's core projects has folks putting out pollinator gardens to try to give these animals safe habitat. It's also critically important for commerce, just in general. It adds to the quality of our lives. Each tree species is attached to large numbers of insects. Those insects are food supply for the birds. So we're planting a host of different species of trees here. We're in the process of expanding this riparian zone.
It's a pretty good estimate that over 4,000 trees have been planted since 2007. So 15 years of tree planting and quite a few tree giveaways too that TEC has been able to sponsor and help our community with as well. Grassy Branch Creek has been stabilized because of the work at TEC and our partnership with them.
So one of the main goals for the Tennessee Environmental Council, whenever we have these projects, is to engage the community. We do that a lot through our volunteer events. So we have volunteer events for not only rain garden installation, we have volunteer events for bank stabilization. We have volunteers that come out and help us plant live stakes in the creek and help us plant trees. We think it's very important that we engage the community that we're working in, kind of have these educational experiences so they can learn.
I started working with the Tennessee Environmental Council just recently. I think I've only volunteered like 3 times, but I've been so impressed with the staff and the work they do. It feels really like soulful work. I'm not much of a gardener or anything, but just to plant a tree, you just really feel as part of the earth, and I just feel like we're in such a stage right now that we really got to take care of Mother Earth. So it's just a pleasure to work with these folks that come out and dig in, literally. I don't know much about trees and planting and environmental things so much as I just know there's a great need for it. But just coming out here and Jordan explains about root flares and riparian zones and some of those things that we all should be aware of, that it's really important to maintain what we've got. And so I just find it to be a great learning process to be out here.
I moved from North Carolina about 6 months ago. I was looking for volunteer opportunities when I moved as a way to get to know the community and really learn more about the Nashville area. And so I subscribed to the Tennessee Environmental Council's email distribution, and it's been a great way to know what's going on, to know where the need is, and then how I can help support it. I think that it's just a really wonderful way to spend time, get to know other people, and just give back a little bit.
So this coming July, we're actually wrapping up this phase of the Grassy Branch restoration project. That doesn't mean that our work is done. We're actually continuing our work downstream.
This work I know will continue for a long time. We have a lot of trees, a lot of places that will enhance the community, stabilize the community. And I'm hoping with the possible extension of the Peter Jenkins walking trail, what they call a green connector, that TEC will see that as another opportunity to expand their work and work with other HOAs in planting more trees and restoring and revetting those creek banks. I've been real delighted with the relationship with Tennessee Environmental Council for all these years. It's a delight to work with them. I consider them friends. I consider them people that love the environment, but also know that a strong tree program and creek revetment program enhances the community, prevents flooding, and improves home values as well too. So I think the people in our community in Spring Hill are grateful to TEC for the amazing work they've done all these years, and I hope that continues for a long time.
The Tennessee Environmental Council have been wonderful partners with the Tennessee Department of Ag, not just in Grassy Branch, but throughout all of Middle Tennessee. If you'd like to become involved in helping protect some of these resources that TEC is helping to protect, check out their website, stay in touch, and find out whenever they're having creek cleanups or other volunteer opportunities.